Hello, my name is Judah. Well, that's not my real name. That's a name I go by. It's a pseudonym, and I never planned on revealing my face, but God has recently led me to expose some things that the dark side is doing. All the things that are done in the dark will be brought out into the light, and here we are. You may have noticed that there was something really off about the recent event on Sunday and the event that sparked that event on Sunday. And you know what it is. There's no reason to me talking about the details. But those events have prompted me to come out to tell you some really, really dark things that God revealed to me. And these are the things that they're doing at the top of every religion, including Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism, Islam. At the top of all of these secret societies as well, the Freemasons, Satanism, common Satanism, orders or groups of men that supposedly are knights or knighted and this sort of thing, all have the same secret at the very top of their structure. And that secret is black magic. It is going to be hard to believe, and I'm going to show you some basic keys, points, indicators to look for when you see these things. And once you see them, you'll never unsee them, and you'll realize that science is basic. Science isn't complicated. Man-made science complicated, not the other way around. And they made it complicated in order to control you, because if they're being honest, and I'm sure many people don't even know, even people at the top of these structures don't even know the depth of depravity that is going on. You go in, you think it's a secret society or it's a fraternity, and we're gonna do some funny stuff and get blindfolded and light candles and all that in the beginning and prove that you're a part of that group. But once you get to the top and you pass all the tests, you get to reveal what the Knights Templar called the Holy Grail. It's what Ponce de Leon was looking for. It was the fountain of youth. I believe he was already initiated, but I believe these stories have their little breadcrumbs of initiation, just like the book of Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code, which also leads you to what I'm going to show you. And once you see these symbols and clues, and I might get hurt, it doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter what happens, but I'm going to release this secret that they have. Now, this is going to sound crazy, but the top of science has always been an ugly, ugly thing. Whether it was the Manhattan Project, or I could go on and on about the things that were revealed from the dark side using the technology that I am describing. And what they did was no different than what John Dee was practicing. And John Dee was the Queen Elizabeth I's, so great, old grandma from Elizabeth II, Elizabeth II. John Dee was her magician and soothsayer, seer, peeper. There's a lot of different words that they use. But he was basically staring into a black mirror, obsidian black mirror. You can still see that mirror in a museum, and we'll get to that through time. But the empire, the British Empire, the term alone was invented or coined by John Dee, which again was the Queen's magician, and he proclaimed to be speaking with angels. And I think if I heard this, and I think I did hear it at one point, I would have thought it was hogwash, without knowing everything that I know. But the past few events have revealed to me in great detail, not a confirmation, because I already have plenty of confirmation of what I'm talking about, proof that most of your technology was grabbed by someone doing some dark stuff, talking to basically in a Ouija board, a high level of Ouija board, which is something, practiced by all these people who really knows what's going on, especially the top of Freemasonry. When you ask how events like the Las Vegas shooting are possible, how could that many people be in on this? people high up in government, people in emergency services, people going back, and I'll show you 100 years ago that event alone was planned by Franklin Delano Roosevelt by talking to these dark entities. Now, here I'm going to prove it to you that the shooting that we just saw, and you want to say instantly that, and I did too, I said that guy's a saint. He died spreading the word of Jesus Christ, and that he did do, and I'm sure he's led people to Jesus Christ. God said there would always be tares amongst the wheat, and that he would bring in the wheat and bale and bundle it and put it in his barn, but he would burn the tares. And that's coming, and this world is about to be in an absolute uproar. But the things in common that prove to you that angel worship and angel communication, which is dark angels, these are demons, these are fallen angels that are handing man this technology through thousands of years, in exchange for a deal. Everyone who made these deals did some kind of horrible atrocity to get into the door of the dark spiritual, what I call this spiritual phone booth, so that they wouldn't tell on what's going on. And this is why you see so many children missing every year, 400,000, okay? It's not that there's 400,000 perverts, okay, that went and saw a movie and it made them go grab a kid and go do some terrible things. These kids were taken and used as instruments to keep people silent, okay, as blackmail instruments. And the loss of these kids, when it goes up and up and up like that, it shows you that more and more and more people have been initiated into the dark side, and that the more and more people are joining a dark army that marches in the dark right now, and that spiritual balance is about to tip. This is why you see little devotional items in song and to these dark angels, and the devotional items and symbols that lead other people back to them if they're paying attention. And it's hard to find the top of this to understand what's going on, and the things that I'm going to show you will prove what I'm talking about. The supposed shooter, I'm not even willing to go that far yet, of the Catholic school, and I want to start with lending my sympathy for those people who really were hurt, or some of their children were hurt, okay? But all that said, one of the things that this guy wrote on one of his clips, that he wrote in his manifesto, his notebook manifesto, was a devil that had a cow head or bull head, a bull of gods, let's call it. And it was looking back at him from a vanity mirror from a bathroom. It was a sketch done by this guy. And that devil is the devil. And he also drew a halo above this bull god's head, showing that he understood this to be an angel, okay, that was talking to him. And it says on that page something like, the children must die. I don't remember what it says, something like that they need to kill, or something like that. And that in itself, on its own, would be unremarkable, right? Some guy, he lost his mind. This is what they want us all to believe. He lost his mind and visualize this stuff because he has schizophrenia, bipolar, whatever you want to call it. That's not true. And this guy has been programmed using mirrors. And the way that I know that, I can give you thousands of examples, and I will, because I have the proof, and I've got all my receipts, and they will come to light. But the thing is this guy was looking in the mirror and talking to angels. And if we go back and look at another shooting, which was Robert F. Kennedy's father, who was assassinated, and I believe he was assassinated in a hotel in California, and there was a bunch of people in a lobby or something, a big area room. And Sirhan Sirhan, which is a mirrored name, first and last name, both are the same. was the guy who was apprehended, let's call him a patsy if he was or wasn't or whatever. But what we know for sure is that he has court testimony that cannot be changed, cannot be altered. That's part of the public record, showing that he stared in mirrors, and the people around him, witnesses around him, said that once he looked in a mirror, it sucked him in. He couldn't even walk back past a reflection of his without leaving this world and entering into another world. And then in court, he testified, Sirhan Sirhan testified that he had been practicing Rosicrucian magic, and he gives an example in court in testimony of him trying to change the colors of a flame using some of their techniques. And he also then goes on to say that Sirhan Sirhan, in his testimony in court, said that he would look in the mirror, and eventually there was an entity in the mirror that told him to kill Bobby Kennedy. Kill, 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 the same thing that we're seeing. That black obsidian mirror that John Dee was looking into and doing this angel magic wasn't much different than all these other examples. Bobby Kennedy, his assassination, his dad's even in the news now, which is pretty fascinating considering all of this. Is he in on it? Is he not in on it? I'm not even going to speculate that. All I want to talk about is this Enochian magic. And so if we fast forward to the guy who shot Charlie Kirk, I believe it was the governor of Utah came out and said something very interesting. Let's listen to that clip.
If anyone in the sound of my voice celebrated even a little bit at the news of this shooting, I would beg you to look in the mirror and to see if you can find a better angel in there somewhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Kirk.
All right, you see the imagery that they're flashing, which is absolutely incredible. But I also want you to notice here that the stage is a black mirror that he's standing on.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Good evening. I'm Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action.
Opportunity right now to do something different. I want to thank my fellow Utahns. This bad stuff happens, and for 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us.